guys, it's Randy. What's up? Welcome back. Today we are going to be reading some more interesting facts. This is going to be 200 awesome facts about everything. So, who knows what it's going to entail? Could be everything and anything under the sun. Got my glasses today because, I was just like, I want to do something different. I feel like it adds personality, I feel like it adds personality. Just got the Clark Kent hipster douchebag glasses. I feel like it adds a little oomph to my presentation. You know what I'm saying? Beard is slowly but surely growing back, so that's good. I actually, fun fact, have not been clean shaven since 2016 when I graduated from college. Actually, 2015, excuse me, when I graduated from college. So it was something I wanted to do just for funsies. I was just like, I'm home all day. Let me experiment. Let me see that baby face one more time. Because I'm 28 years old and I'm getting older. So I could stand to look a little bit younger these days, maybe. I don't know. Possibly. Who knows? I'm rambling. I'm sorry. Anyway. I don't know what's going on with me today. You guys don't care, right? It's fine. That's totally fine. You guys know I'm weird. So get it together, Randall. Anyway, let's begin. 200 awesome facts about everything. Everything. So we'll see. The world's oldest hotel has been operating since 705 AD. The Nishiyama Onsen Gyunkan, I think I said that right, in Yamanashi, Japan, holds the Guinness World Record for being the oldest hotel in the world. The hot spring hotel sits at the foot of the stunning Akaishi Mountains and has been in operation since it was founded by Fujiwara Mahito in 705 AD. Since then, it's been in the hands of some 52 generations of the same family for more than 1,300 years. I like Japan. I want to go there someday. So when I do, I'm going to keep this in mind here. Yawning cools the brain. Cools your brain. As a matter of fact, did you know that? I bet you did. Research conducted at the University of Vienna suggests that yawning may play an essential role in cooling our brains. But yawning to cool the brain is not functional when the outside temperature is as hot as the body, explained the study's lead author, Jorg Massen, M-A-S-S-E-N. And if you're wondering, yes, sleep deprivation does increase brain temperature, which could be a factor in why we yawn more when we're tired. Makes sense. I yawn a lot in the morning, so maybe that's not such a good thing now, is it? I don't know. I'm never going to get through these facts if I keep rambling. It takes 68 days to swim the full length of the Mississippi River. On July 4th, 2002, marathon swimmer Martin Steele began a journey in northern Minnesota that saw him making his way down the 2,348-mile Mississippi River in an effort to become the first person to swim its entire length. On September 9, he reached his goal, ending up in the Gulf of Mexico in Louisiana after an incredible 68-day journey. That's about 34.5 miles a day. There is a Boston Typewriter Orchestra. When you're in the mood to play a song or two, you could grab a guitar or sit down at a piano. But for some Massachusetts residents, typewriters are the instruments of choice. The Boston Typewriter Orchestra was founded in 2004, and its members use old typewriters to produce unique sounds that they turn into music. They've even released an album. What the hell was that? My apologies. Album. As typewriter musician Brendan Emmett Quigley explains, different typewriter models result in different noises. For example, a Smith Corona. I'm triggered. I'm so triggered right now. Galaxy 12 has a power space function. makes a nice metallic clang sound. Corona. I'm so sorry. Fleas are among the world's, I'm not going to recover from that one, among the world's best jumpers. Take that, Olympians. Fleas use their toes and shins to jump according to researchers at the University of Cambridge. They can spring up to 7 vertical inches, more than 80 times their height. An apple can last up to 10 months. Not the apples I'm buying, that's for sure. I don't know what the flip they're talking about. My apples last like 1 week tops, and then they start to get like wrinkly. You know, like the skin gets really wrinkly and like uncomfortable, and then you bite into it and it's dry. So I don't know what the hell they're talking about. According to the U.S. Department of Agriculture, if you pick an apple off of a tree, it'll last a few weeks before it starts to soften and rot. But if you store an entire harvest under controlled atmospheric conditions, it'll last up to 10 months. Well, sure. Of course, as I tend to do, I get a text message while I'm doing a video. It's like clockwork, you know? It's like people are just like, I'm gonna text Randy now because he's recording an ASMR video. Let's do it. The word tragedy comes from an ancient Greek, I swear I'm in a good mood, comes from an ancient Greek word meaning goat song. While tragedy is the word we use for a terrible event or a sad outcome, it has roots from the Middle English word tragedy, Tragedie, which can be traced back to medieval Latin's tragedia, and the Latin tragoedia. That word originates from the ancient Greek word tragoedia, meaning goat song, according to Oxford dictionaries. A common accepted theory for the etymology is that Greek tragedies were known as goat songs because the prize in Athenian play competitions was a live goat. Makes sense. The creator of the Pringles can is buried in one. Okay, well, the ashes of Frederick Beer, whatever, who created the iconic Pringles can in 1966, found his eternal resting place in one when he died in 2008. And FYI, his remains are in an original flavor can. Well, of course, I mean, you're gonna put his remains in, you know, a freaking sour cream and onion can. That's just ridiculous, right, guys? You know what I mean? Come on, let's be realistic here. The Wizard of Oz's full name is Oscar Zoroaster Fadrick Isaac Norman Henkel Emmanuel Ambroise Diggs. Okay. In the original 1900 Wonderful Wizard of Oz novel, The Wonderful Wizard of Oz, written by author L. Frank Baum, the titular magician, Magic Man, revealed that his full name was actually much longer. I'm not reading it again. In the story, Oz, as he calls himself, explains. I don't know, what does he sound like again? I don't remember. I'm just going to read it in my normal voice and not be an idiot. It was a dreadfully long name to weigh down a poor, innocent child. And one of the hardest lessons I ever learned was to remember my own name. When I grew up, I just called myself Oz because the other initials were Pinhead, and that's spelled pinhead, which was a reflection on my intelligence. So there you go. Penguins. Penguins used to be 6 feet tall. Those tiny tuxedo birds we know and love today used to be the size of a high school linebacker, according to a 2017 report published in Nature Communications. There's evidence that extinct Cumimanu Bikai penguins once stood to 6 feet tall and weighed more than 1,200 pounds. For some reason, I find that horrifying. Is that just me? Like, a 6 foot tall penguin just seems scary. I don't know. A brewery in Canada makes beer using water from 20,000-year-old icebergs. Well, that's pretty cool. Everyone wants their beer to be cool and refreshing, but one Canadian brewery also wants their beer to be as pure as possible. That's why Quidi Vidi Brewery in Newfoundland, Labrador, harvests water directly from icebergs that are up to 20,000 years old and flow down the area's iceberg alley. According to NPR, the ice formed tens of thousands of years ago from compacted snow, which means there are no minerals and lots of tiny bubbles trapped inside. It gives the golden beer a special, very light taste. That's actually really awesome. I would love to try that. Fun fact, I'm originally from Canada. I know, it's crazy. Hey. Barely. I spent my whole life in New York, but, technically I'm Canadian by nationality and birth. The Slinky was created by accident. Inventor Richard James, a naval engineer, was trying to create a spring that could help stabilize equipment on boats in choppy waters. However, his spring's ability to move seemingly on its own proved more interesting and became the prototype for the Slinky in 1943. At any given moment, there are approximately 2,000 thunderstorms happening on Earth. Some areas of the planet experienced extreme weather more often than others, but at any given time, there are an estimated 2,000 thunderstorms happening in different locations on Earth, according to the National Severe Storms Laboratory. Annually, there are about 16 million thunderstorms across the globe, and around 100,000 of them occur somewhere in the United States. Michelangelo hated painting the Sistine Chapel and wrote a poem about it. There are plenty of stories about how painting the ceiling of the Sistine Chapel was quite literally a pain for Michelangelo. The artist had to be in an incredibly awkward position to complete the work of art. He supposedly hated the task so much that he wrote a poem about it. The sonnet, which was originally written in his native Italian in 1509, has been translated by American poet Gail Masser. Here's a sample. My stomach's squashed under my chin, my beard's pointing at heaven, my brain's crushed in a casket, my breast twists like a harpies. That wasn't an Italian accent, was it? Beepity boppity ooh. I probably just offended a shitload of people. I'm sorry. I can't do accents without being, incredibly stereotypical. You don't even want to hear my Irish accent. You're gonna want to kill me if you're Irish. Anyway, 1 million Earths would fit inside the sun. If the sun were hollow, you could fit 1 million Earths inside it, according to Cornell's Ask an Astronomer. That's because the sun has a radius 100 times that of the Earth. The letter C was removed from the alphabet for 200 years. It's hard to imagine an alphabet that doesn't include A, C, and every other letter in between. However, around 300 BC, the Roman censor Appius Claudius Caesar had C removed from the alphabet due to the fact that it wasn't used that much. The letter S was also nixed, and the letter G was added. It took another 200 years for Z to make its way back to the end of the alphabet. I've done so many of these videos, right? So many fact videos, but so far I am not familiar with any of these facts. These are all brand new to me, so it's kind of interesting how there aren't any repeats thus far. The National Hot Dog and Sausage Council ruled that hot dogs aren't sandwiches. You hear that, guys? So if you're one of those people that thinks a hot dog's a sandwich and you have those debates on the regular, which I'm tired of hearing that argument, now you know. It's been ruled, okay, by the National Hot Dog Council. Didn't even know that was a thing, but they've said there is no such thing as a hot dog that's a sandwich. It's just a hot dog, okay? Enough with this tomfoolery. Thank you. There are plenty of debates when it comes to what actually constitutes a sandwich. Is it something that's surrounded by something bread-like? What does that mean for tacos, burritos, hamburgers, and hot dogs? While you can argue about the first three all you want, the National Hot Dog and Sausage Council made an official ruling when it comes to hot dogs. They deemed that hot dogs are not sandwiches. Limiting a hot dog's significance by saying it's just a sandwich is like calling the Dalai Lama just a guy, said Janet Riley, the president of the council. So, there you go. Let me take a sip of water real quick. Delicious. A coffee taster had his tongue insured for 10 million. This is in euros, so 10 million euros. Gennaro Pelicia doesn't just appreciate a good cup of coffee. He's a professional coffee taster who works for England's Costa Coffee Company. His discerning tongue is so key to his job that he was able to insure it for a whopping 10 million. With Lloyd's of London, my tongue and my ability to perceive different aromas are very important to my work, Policia told the Lifestyle Inquirer. But I guess England, well, I mean, this could have been a while ago, but England doesn't use euros anymore, right? Because of Brexit. Am I wrong? I don't think they do, right? They use pounds. Did they ever use euros? I'm off topic. The chills you get when listening to music are caused by your brain releasing dopamine. Sweet. Some songs affect you more than others, pumping you up with energy or making you cry ugly tears. And then there are tunes that give you the chills. When that happens, it's due to the fact that your brain reacts to stimulation by releasing dopamine, which is a neurotransmitter that causes pleasure. Sweet. More people tuned into Prince Charles and Princess Diana's wedding than for the Friends, Cheers, Seinfeld, and MASH finales combined. Prince Harry and Meghan Markle's wedding amassed nearly 30 million viewers in the United States. The 2019 Super Bowl brought in more than 98 million viewers, but Prince Charles and the late Princess Diana had 700 million people worldwide tune in to see them wed. There are 10 different ways to pronounce the letters O-U-G-H. No matter how you utter O-U-G-H, there's a good chance you're saying it properly. That's because there are 10 different ways to pronounce the widely versatile sound depending on how it's being used. Excuse me, O-U-G-H. O-U-G-H. O. I have no idea what they're trying to get at here, but sure. Am I an idiot? For instance, in rough, oh, I see what they're saying. Okay, in rough, it has a UFF sound, while in plow, it's more of like ow. In through, it's more like ew. And in though, it's like oh. And now, you know. That's hilarious. Seriously, I'm so glad I read that. I'm being cheeky. The word for black belt in Japanese translates to first step. We think of people with black belts as experts in martial arts who have endured years of rigorous training, but the word for the ranking in Japanese shodan can be broken down and translated to first step. The world's largest pumpkin weighs more than a sports car. In 2016, Belgian native Matthias Willemijns set a new world record for growing the biggest pumpkin. The massive pumpkin weighed in at 2,624.6 pounds. That's 129.6 pounds more than an Alfa Romeo 4C sports car. Native naughty form is a term for something that looks like a bum. It's always helpful to have a proper word to accurately describe what you see, and thankfully, if you spot something that looks like a bum, you can use the term naughty form, which refers to anything that happens to resemble buttocks. So instead of calling a person a butthead, you can call them a naughty form head and really throw them for a loop. Doesn't really have a good ring to it though, does it? I don't know. Doctors who play video games more than 3 hours a week make fewer operating room errors. Cool. I like this one. Doctors who work in the operating room may want to start playing video games. A study published in the Archives of Surgery found that doctors who played video games for more than 3 hours a week each week made 37% fewer surgical errors than those who didn't. They also performed 27% faster and scored 42% better on a test of surgical skills. According to the researchers, this supports earlier findings that video games can improve fine motor skills, eye-hand coordination, visual attention, depth perception, and computer competency. I mean, I know this. You probably know this. Everybody knows this except normies. You know what I'm saying? Freaking normies. No offense if you're a normie. I throw no shade. The average American woman owns 7 pairs of jeans and only wears 4. How many pairs of denim do you own? And how many do you actually wear? According to a national poll featured in ShopSmart, the average American woman owns 7 pairs pairs of jeans. However, despite the fact that 85% of women typically wear jeans at least once a week, they only tend to wear 4 pairs on a regular basis. Dolly Parton lost a Dolly Parton look-alike contest. Dolly Parton entered herself into a Dolly Parton look-alike contest for drag queens in 2012 and didn't even win first place. An NFL referee can also get a Super Bowl ring. NFL players aren't the only ones who can take home a Super Bowl ring. Referees who have earned the honor of officiating the sport's biggest annual game are also recognized with the coveted pieces of jewelry. Okay, at this point we're like 23 minutes in, I think, and we're not even halfway, so I'm gonna start skipping certain facts that are not that interesting at my discretion, so we can move a little bit faster, because we have 200 to get through, and we're only at 29, so, yeah. The lines on the inside of your wrist have a name. If you look at the skin on the inside of your wrists, you'll see a few lines that become deep creases when you bend your hand inwards. These grooves have a name, rasqueta, in case you ever find a need to refer to them. Cool. New York City is going to get bigger to prepare for climate change. Okay, well, this is news to me as a New Yorker. So fill me in, please. I would love to know what we're doing. Besides the plastic bag thing, we recently banned plastic bags in New York. We're using paper bags, and we have to bring our own as well if we don't want to pay for paper bags. And that was recent, so. In March 2019, New York City's mayor, Bill de Blasio, announced a plan to extend Manhattan's shoreline into the East River in order to prepare for the potentially devastating effects of climate change. By extending the island by up to 500 feet with 2 city blocks of parkland, they hope to create a buffer zone that will save up to 70% of Manhattan, lower Manhattan, from possible future floods. Either I don't pay attention or, this was kind of under the radar because I didn't even know about this, but sure, I suppose that makes sense. A sneeze sounds different around the world. While people in English-speaking countries tend to say achoo, and French-speaking countries go with something with a similar sounding achom. Germans say hachi, and the Japanese say hakshun. That's pretty cool. That's actually something I never would have guessed, but it does make sense, right? Like it's like, in English you say ow when you hurt yourself. I don't think they say that in Japanese, right? They don't say ow, right? I think they go like something like that. I'm not quite sure though. Excuse me, Jesus, let me take a sip of water real quick. It's one of those days. A Belgian pigeon named Armando is worth 1.4 million. Armando isn't just any old pigeon. The racing champ is a Belgian bird that, according to CNN, is the best long-distance racing pigeon of all time. In March 2019, a Chinese financier named Xingwei bought Armando for a whopping 1.4 million, making him the most expensive bird ever to be sold at auction by a reportedly huge margin. Mars exploration has its own Scottish tartan. It may still be a few years until we land on Mars, but when we do, explorers will have the option to proudly wear the planet's own tartan if they'd like. Designed by Joffrey, Highland Crafts, the pattern was inspired by the colors and history of the Red Planet, according to the Scottish Register of Tartans. I don't even know if I'm saying that right. And here's what it all means. The red background depicts the surface of Mars. The red planet. The blue depicts the water-rich past of Mars and the presence of water, mainly as ice, on the planet today. The 4 green lines represent Mars, the 4th planet from the Sun. The presence of habitable conditions on the planet and the possible future presence of life in the form of human settlement. The thick white line represents the Martian poles, visible from the Earth, a conspicuous and important feature of the planet and its long-term climatic, I said that right, cycles. So that's really cool. There are more than 60 different species of eagles, but only 2 live in North America. A symbol used in place of a curse word is called a grolix. Grolix. Nice. I didn't know that's what it was called. now we know. Hairiness is correlated with a higher IQ. Don't sweat that fuzzy back. I have a friend who has a hairy back. I feel bad for him, actually. One study reveals that Mensa members with more body hair also happen to have the highest IQs. I can also confirm that this is false because my friend is, he is what he is. Let's just put it that way. Spam mail got its name from Monty Python. If you've ever wondered why we call unsolicited emails spam, just ask a Monty Python fan. The term was inspired by a skit from the British comedy group that featured Vikings loudly and annoyingly, though hilariously, singing spam, spam, spam in an effort to drown out others who are trying to talk. Well, that's pretty awesome. I work in email marketing, so this was fun for me to figure out as well because I didn't know why it was called spam. The history, anyway. Facebook's blue-collar scheme is for Mark Zuckerberg's benefit. Facebook founder Mark Zuckerberg suffers from a red-green color blindness, and the blue is the color he can see best. Interesting. A pianist set a Guinness World Record by performing at a record-breaking height in honor of her mom. On September 6, 2018, Evelina Delane of the UK played a piano at Singapore in India at a record-setting 16,227 feet. Despite the sub-zero temperatures, Delane was determined to perform the feat as a tribute to her mother, who passed away the previous year from cystic fibrosis. She also used her concert at the breathtaking location to raise awareness about the disease. The wind chill was extreme, and everybody thought I would only last about 10 minutes, Delane admitted. Instead, she played for more than an hour. So that's very admirable. Picasso was a suspect in the 1911 Mona Lisa theft. When Leonardo da Vinci's masterpiece was stolen in 1911, 30-year-old Pablo Picasso was questioned about its disappearance before being cleared. President Obama is a two-time Grammy winner. Former President Obama has 2 Grammys, both for spoken word albums, The Audacity of Hope, Thoughts on Reclaiming the American Dream, and Dreams from My Father. There's a word for when you can't remember a word. It's called lethologica. Interesting. I'm just gonna fix that. Something weird about my headphones there. We're good. The world's lowest temperature in the U.S. was minus 80 degrees Fahrenheit, or 62.2 degrees, minus 62.2 degrees Celsius. Male monkeys will pay to look at female monkeys. Researchers at Duke University Medical Center have discovered that male Rhesus macaques will pay, that is, give up their juice rewards to check out the backsides of lady macaques. Why do they have to make these names so damn complicated? True story. It's kind of like men in real, it's like humans. Men do the same thing. When you really think about it, right? A ghost word is a word that became a word by error. On occasion, a word finds its way into existence not because of normal linguistic evolution or a cultural reference, but rather due to a mistake, like a misinterpretation or a misprint in the dictionary. These terms are called ghost words. Legal seafoods clam chowder has been served at every presidential inauguration since Reagan. Sounds pretty delicious if you ask me. I like clam chowder. I think it's quite good. Horseshoe crabs have eyes all over their bodies. They have 10 eyes in total, including one near their mouth, on the top of their shell, and down their tail. Lenny Kravitz and Al Roker are related. They share a great grandfather. Cheese may prevent nightmares. In a 2013 study conducted by the British Cheese Board, all participants who ate cheese before bed reported having no nightmares. But blue cheese consumption did have a tendency to make dreams a bit odd. French poodles aren't French. The French poodle is widely believed to have first been bred in Germany, not fact, the word poodle comes from the German word Pudelhund, a combination of words meaning dog and to splash. Night owls tend to be smarter than early birds. Take that, early birds. Feel bad that you're never well rested enough to head out for a jog before the sun's up. Don't be. Research published in Personality and Individual Differences suggests that night owls tend to have higher IQs than early risers. Why? I don't know. They're just making the claim, so who knows? Every Dutch police car has a teddy bear in it. They do so in case they need to help out a traumatized child. So that's pretty nice of them. There is a blonde zebra in Africa. Zebras are famous for their striking black and white striped appearance, but there's one zebra that was spotted in Africa's Serengeti National Park that isn't like the others. In February 2019, photographer Sergio Petamitz came across an extremely rare blonde zebra. At first, I thought it was a zebra that had rolled in the dust, Petamitz said, but scientists believe that the golden colored zebra likely has partial albinism. It's illegal to sell photos of the Eiffel Tower at night. The next time you visit Paris, be sure to take a few pictures in front of the Eiffel Tower like a proper tourist. However, you should be aware of the fact that while it's totally legal to snap pics of the Eiffel Tower during the day, it's illegal to sell photos of the tower at night. That's because the rights to the building's evening light show belong to the artist who created it, so the image is therefore protected under French law. There's a patron saint for dentists. Hawaiian pizza is Canadian. That pineapple ham concoction named after America's most scenic state was actually invented in Ontario in 1962. David Hasselhoff's divorce settlement included ownership of the nickname The Hoff. The world's longest fingernails are more than 2 feet long. Neanderthals mass-produced tools in a Flintstone factory 60,000 years ago. That's cool. Archaeologists in Poland discovered a massive workshop that they believe was used by Neanderthals to make thousands of flint tools. Those working on the site found more than 17,000 stone items, making it the first large Neanderthal work area discovered in Central Europe that isn't a cave. A shrimp's heart is in its head. Nice. 3 presidents have died on the 4th of July. John Adams, Thomas Jefferson, and James Monroe all passed on Independence Day. Scientists believe they've found fossils from the day that the asteroid killed the dinosaurs. At a location in Tanis, North Dakota, University of Kansas PhD student Robert De Palma found a treasure trove of fossilized freshwater fish, trees, and marine ammonites that appear to be from the day an asteroid hit the Earth. The impact created the Chicxulub crater and triggered a tsunami that killed a mix of land and sea organisms that were found together in the area. David Burnham, co-author of a paper based on research from Discovery, said that the sedimentation happened so quickly, everything is preserved in 3 dimensions. They're not crushed. Barry Manilow wrote the State Farm and Band-Aid jingles. State Farm has a pretty catchy jingle, I think. The Manhattan is a species of ant unique to New York City. This one I remember from the last video. Mr. Clean's name changes around the globe. In Germany, he's Meister proper, and in Spain, he's Don Limpio. Cool. Goats have unique accents. The Earth weighs about... Okay, I don't even know if I'm going to be able to read this. It's a lot. Let's just put it that way. It's like, I don't want to say it's 13 trillion. It might be way more than that. Yeah. I don't even know what number this is, but Earth is too big to pop up on a scale, but according to NASA and the California Institute of Technology's Cool Cosmos, scientists have used their knowledge of the laws of gravity and applied that to some fancy schmancy mathematical equations to figure out that our planet weighs about 1,370 something pounds. Okay. Don't judge me. The American education system failed me, okay? God. The world's oldest tortoise is twice as old as Queen Elizabeth. Thought to be 187 years old. Charles Dickens always had his bed facing north. He was responsible for writing great works like Great Expectations and Oliver Twist. And while he obviously had a talent for writing, he was also an insomniac who believed that his creativity was dependent on his bed pointing northward. One region in Canada has lower gravity than other parts of the world. In Canada, the Hudson Bay region seems to be missing gravity. This strange phenomenon was first identified in the 1960s, according to Global News. Scientists believe that it's caused by a combination of convection occurring in the Earth's mantle and the Laurentide ice sheet, which left an indent on the area after it melted 10,000 years ago. That indent means less mass, which in turn means less gravity. 350 slices of pizza sell every second in America. Nice. 17% of American restaurants are pizzerias. And if you've never been to New York, we have some of the best pizza. Seriously. The world's largest waterfall is underwater in the ocean. This is beneath the Denmark Strait, an area that separates Iceland and Greenland. At the bottom, there is a series of waterfalls that begin 2,000 feet under the surface and drop nearly 2 miles down to a depth of 10,000 feet. It only appears as if our hair and nails keep growing after we die. I didn't even know that was a thing, right? It just means that more of our nails and skin and hair are exposed, basically due to the deterioration of our body, basically. The world's first hamburger was actually a smushed meatball. Hamburger lovers may want to take a trip to the place where the beloved burger was first made. In 1885, Charlie Nagreen apparently served the very first hamburger at the Seymour Fair when he flattened a meatball, which weren't selling terribly well, and placed it between 2 slices of bread to make it easy to carry around and eat. Ernest Hemingway's former home is overrun with cats. His home in Key West, Florida is home to 54 cats. Tiny pumpkin toadlets have a glow-in-the-dark skeleton. Aviation English is the language all pilots must speak no matter what nationality they are. So that's cool. It's a 300-word language that senior aircrew are required to know no matter where they come from or what their native language is. Otters hold hands. Otters like to keep close company even in the water. Not only do otters link arms to avoid floating away from one another, the Asian small-clawed otters mates for life. I actually think a friend of mine, Victoria Sponge ASMR, you guys may know her. Subscribe to her channel. She's great. She actually gave me this fact about otters a couple days ago on my previous video, so it's funny that it's coming up now. Early Americans used corn cobs as toilet paper. That just seems very uncomfortable. I don't know if I would recommend that. I'm glad I wasn't an early American, no thanks. Ketchup used to be considered a medicine. In 1800s, ketchup was sold as a medicine and was made into pill form to rid people of stomach ailments. Polar bears don't have white skin or fur. It's actually 2 layers of clear fur that appear white to the human eye. Underneath that coat, their skin is actually black. Interesting. Sudan has almost twice as many pyramids as Egypt. Barbie and Ken have full names. Barbara Millicent Roberts the brand successfully trademarked the color. So apparently, if you try to use magenta, good luck, T-Mobile is coming for you. The only words that rhyme with purple are purple and purple. Oh, really? What about purple nurple? Exactly. Checkmate. The Spanish national anthem. Oh man, I'm silly. You're a silly goose, Randall. The Spanish national anthem has no lyrics. Spain's national anthem, Marcha Real, or Marcha Real, or Royal March, doesn't have any official lyrics. It was written as a military march, and as such, was not intended to be sung. A cat's ear has 32 muscles. Yeah. If you've ever wondered how your cat seems to hear every little noise from rooms away, blame it on their highly developed ears. A cat's ear contains 32 muscles, some of which account for their aural aptitude, providing their ears with a wide range of motion to detect sound. And if you've ever looked at a cat in their ear when they're listening to things, you can actually see their ear rotate and try to it rotates slightly to try to capture the sound better. It's very fascinating to watch. The Vatican's ATMs are in Latin. Sweet. There are frogs smaller than your fingernails. Spotted skunks do handstands. Gowpen is what you call it when you cup your hands. There's a town in western New York populated by psychics. It's called Lilydale, a town an hour southwest of Buffalo. Asteroids named after Tom Hanks and Meg Ryan met up near Earth. Tom Hanks and Meg Ryan were so charming together in 1993's Sleepless in Seattle that the two actors teamed up 5 years later for 1998's You've Got Mail. And 13 years later, they reunited once again, in a way. An asteroid that named 8,353 Meg Ryan in 1989, and an asteroid that was named 1,200 in 818 Tom Hanks in 1996 both made their closest approaches to Earth in September 2011. Female lions do more hunting than the males. Dirty Dancing, Havana Nights was originally a political movie. No. My facts are gone. God damn it. No. Son of a bitch. I think I clicked on one of their stupid ads. I think that's what happened. You know what I'm saying? It's okay, guys. We'll recover. We're almost there. Well, when I say we're almost there, I mean we're kind of not almost there, but, here we go. San Francisco is mostly water. Early horses had 14 toes total, while modern horses only have 4. Shakespeare popularized the name Jessica. Jessica, one of the most popular names in America for the better part of the 1980s and 1990s, was actually coined by William Shakespeare. The first instance of the common spelling of this name comes from The Merchant of Venice, written by the bard in the late 1500s. There is a hot pink lake in Australia. Scientists aren't entirely sure why this is. There has been one documented albino penguin chick. Aw, so cute. Stephen King bought and smashed the automobile that nearly killed him. That's badass. I really appreciate that for some reason. That's very cool. The Empire State Building has its own zip code. That's cool. I actually didn't even know that, and I live here. Chuck E. Cheese is a nickname. A dog's nose is the equivalent of a human fingerprint. Don't you just want to boop the little nose? Okay, here we go. Jesus Christ. She Sells by the Seashore was likely written about a 1800s female paleontologist who sold dinosaur bones. Cool. Seashells by the Seashore. I did it. Yes. The color orange was named after the fruit. Duh. I mean, anybody can figure that part out. Let's be honest, guys. Come on. The largest sandcastle ever can be seen from space. George Washington was a prolific whiskey maker. America's first president was quite adept at making whiskey. In fact, George Washington's distillery at Mount Vernon produced close to 11,000 gallons of the stuff. The site of the former distillery now makes small batch whiskeys. Well, that's pretty awesome. New York's Washington Square Park is a former graveyard. A lot of New York stuff on here, for some reason. A lot of this stuff I don't even know myself. I'm gonna have to remember that next time I'm in Washington Square Park. Jerry Springer was born in a London subway station during World War II. Jerry Springer, best known for the very explosive TV show, Jerry Springer, his entrance into the world was no less dramatic. When Springer was born in London in 1944, it was the middle of World War II, and his mother gave birth to him in Highgate subway station, which was being used as a bomb shelter at the time. During the war, women who were in their ninth month would often spend the night in the subway stations because those were the bomb shelters. That's cool. I didn't even know Jerry Springer was born in England, so that's pretty neat. There's an opposite of deja vu. It's called yamas vu. This phenomenon describes when you know something has happened before, but it seems unfamiliar. I don't even know if I've ever had that before, you know? Excuse me. I got a weird throat sounds coming out right now. Selfies kill more people than sharks. Duh. We know that. There are 7 U.S. towns named after Santa. There are more than 1 million ants for every person on Earth. Dextrophobia is the fear of having objects to your right. I didn't even know that existed, but apparently it does. Andrew Jackson owned a lewd parrot. President Andrew Jackson taught his parrot to curse. It's hard to believe that a president of the United States decided to do this. You know, I just find that hilarious for some reason. The bird was later kicked out of the former president's funeral for swearing during the service, according to one Jackson biographer. I think he just became my favorite president. The longest underwater kiss lasted 20 minutes and 11 seconds. Okay. Sounds like something straight out of a Notebook. Who wants to beat that record with me? Right? Let's do it, guys. We gotta hold our breath. Preferably, female, but, fuck it, I'll do it with a guy. If it means I get notoriety for beating a world record. Anyway, Christmas with the Cranks was inspired by John Grisham. Damn it, I cursed, I just realized. I curse, and I never get demonetized, but I'm always worried that if I do, my video gets, less exposure. I don't know if the algorithms pick that up or not, but I try not to drop F-bombs, and inevitably I do, so. Christmas with the Cranks was inspired by John Grisham. We're on 121, by the way, so keep up, guys. Stay with me. We're almost there. Aquatic snail teeth are the hardest natural material. Elephants bury their dead. That's so sad. Jane Austen referenced baseball 40 years before it was officially invented. Awesome. I love baseball. Purdue University created a licking machine to finish Tootsie Pops. A British man created an all-Lego house. Of course, it would be a British person, right? I can never picture an American guy being like, yeah, I made a house full of Legos because, whatever. James May created a 2-story house made entirely of Legos on the Denbies wine estate in Surrey, Great Britain. It took 3.2 million tiny plastic bricks to build. A cat served as the mayor of an Alaskan town. Hell yeah. Stubbs, an orange cat, was the mayor of Talkeetna, Alaska for 20 years. You can see 4 states from the top of Chicago's Willis Tower. You can see Illinois, of course, Indiana, Wisconsin, and Michigan. Champagne was once used as shoe polish. Astronauts celebrate Christmas in space. They They spend the day eating together and unwrapping gifts, and some even dress up for the occasion. These are the astronauts that are aboard the International Space Station, that is. The inventor of the internet regrets the URL setup. When Tim Berners-Lee created the setup we now use for every website URL on the internet, he included the double dash after the HTTP dot because it was a programming convention at the time, he told the New York Times, but he later admitted that the slashes turned out to not really be necessary. Look at all the papers and trees that could have been saved if people had not had to write or type out those slashes on paper over the years. Not to mention the human labor, the time spent typing those keystrokes countless millions of times in browser address boxes, he said. Well, now it's not really necessary because you can just type the domain .com and you're fine. So, but I get what he's saying. The Pacific Ocean houses a mysterious singing whale. May 29th is Put a Pillow on Your Fridge Day. Never heard of it, but cool. Sea cucumbers fight by shooting out their internal organs, which will grow back. That is some edgelord shit right there. Dentistry is one of the oldest professions, dating back to 7000 BC. Nice. The word computer was used to refer to a person in the 1600s. Nowadays, the word computer refers to the super handy piece of tech that can be used for everything from drafting work documents to spending hours watching adorable cat videos online. But in 1613, it was a term used to refer to a person. Then, in 1869, it switched to a machine before becoming the word for an electronic device. Oh my gosh, excuse me. In 1946, Darth Vader never says, "Luke, I am your father." Yeah. He says, "No, I am your father." Often it's misquoted, but yeah. The very middle of America is 2 miles northwest of Lebanon, Kansas, on a pig farm. Bulls can't see red. Although the bright red color of a matador's cape is said to be what angers the bull, the animal can't actually discern its hue. Platypus's moms nurse their babies by sweating milk. There's an island in Japan almost entirely populated by bunnies. It's in Okunoshima. It's a Japanese island that is predominantly populated by rabbits, formerly the home of a World War II era poison gas factory. The island is now overrun with adorable rabbits and has become a major tourist destination. That's very cute. Of course it would be in Japan. British military tanks are equipped with a tea-making area. That's awesome. It's no secret that the Brits like tea, but they apparently consider it such a vital part of their routine that their military tanks are even equipped with an area specifically designed to allow those inside to brew a cup or two. The vessel boiling electric heats water for tea and can also be used by hungry soldiers to cook food. I mean, if you gotta have a cup of tea, you gotta have a cup of tea, you know what I'm saying? I totally get it. Daniel Radcliffe was allergic to Harry Potter's glasses. He was allergic to the character's signature specs. He says, "I had these 2 rings of whiteheads and spots that had come up around my eyes, and it took us a week to realize that it was actually the glasses." So he was given glasses made from hypoallergenic materials later on. Most wasabi paste isn't real wasabi. If you enjoy wasabi when you're at a sushi restaurant, you might be surprised to find out that you're actually eating what you're eating isn't probably wasabi at all. That's because real wasabi is expensive. The green paste is instead likely horseradish, which is in the same family as wasabi, like other brassicaceae, such as cabbage, broccoli, cauliflower, radish, mustard, and watercress. Avocados don't ripen on trees. They have to be plucked first if you want to get the perfect texture. Olympic gold medals are only partially gold. There's only one flying mammal in the world. The only flying mammal, the bat, is the only flying mammal. Other animals animals that give the appearance of flying, like squirrels, or just gliding through the air. You need 10,000 years of cheese-making experience to even apply. Excuse me. What did I just say? 10 years. 10,000 years. Yes, I am a 10,000-year-old cheese wizard. You need 10 years of experience making cheese to apply to become a master cheesemaker. Oh man, that's funny. You're most likely to die on your birthday, apparently. People over 60 have a 14% higher chance of dying on their birthday than any other day, for whatever reason. Your dog is as smart as your toddler. According to the American Psychological Association, dogs are approximately as intelligent as your average 2-year-old and can understand more than 150 words. Also, much like a toddler, dogs can deceive people and other animals when they want a treat. That is so cute. Deception. It's adorable, isn't it? Why did I say it like that? I'm not even British, in it. I'm weird, don't even ask. McDonald's serves spaghetti in the Philippines. Yeah, it's a well-known fact that McDonald's adjusts its menu for different countries. Google was nearly called back rub. Larry Page and Sergey Brin created what we now know Google back in 1996, but they almost initially called it back rub. The name was a nod to the way the search engine analyzed the web's backlinks to determine how important a site was. They decided a year later that they needed the name to indicate just how much data they were indexing. Eventually, they came up with the name Google, a take on the number Googleplex, which is the digit 1 followed by 10 to the 100th zeros. The winner of the North American Wife Carrying Championship gets their spouse's weight in beer. Sign me up. I don't have a wife, but I can get one just for this competition if it gets me beer. You know? Shit. That's such an American thing, by the way. That's the most American thing you can possibly think of. Turkeys sing. Pizza Hut used to buy more kale than anyone in the United States. Back when Pizza Hut had salad bars, the chain was the largest purchaser of kale. The kale wasn't making it into the salad, it was used to spruce up the look of the salad bar. So, just in appearance. Divers found the remains of the 27,000-year-old giant sloth stuck in a sinkhole. A flock of ravens is called an unkindness or a conspiracy. In Michigan, you're never further than 6 miles from a body of water. Cell phones are illegal in one West Virginia town. In Green Bank, West Virginia, no wireless signals are allowed because they could interfere with the operation of the National Radio Astronomy Observatory's radio telescope. A grizzly polar bear hybrid is either called a growler bear or a pizzly bear. Oysters can change sexes. It's determined partially by the environment. Albert Einstein is an anagram for 10 elite brains. It seems incredibly appropriate that the name of genius Albert Einstein is an anagram, meaning it uses the exact same letters as the phrase 10 elite brains. It's also an anagram of elite brain nest. Waffle House informs FEMA decisions. Although it's not an official metric, the Federal Emergency Management Agency gets information from Waffle House about their closings and limited menus to determine the severity of storms. Apparently there's like a lot of Waffle Houses in America and in the South. I have none here in New York. I think it's like a southern thing, as I understand it. So the bigger your brain, the longer you yawn. Andrew Gallup, a psychologist and professor at the State University of New York, Oneonta, compiled the list of animals: elephants, cats, gorillas, sheep, camels, and walruses, and told his students to go online and find as many videos of these creatures yawning as possible, according to a report by The Atlantic. The students gathered enough evidence to show that the size of an animal's brains seemed to be directly related to the length of its yawn. So basically, if an animal yawns for a long time, you can safely assume it has a heavy brain. Nice. Cool. Like that. There's a flower shop in the White House. The Pittsburgh Pirates considered building their stadium over a river. I mean, they're called the Pittsburgh Pirates, so it would make sense. The first 3D film was shown in 1922. The film was called The Power of Love, and it had its premiere at Los Angeles' Ambassador Hotel Theater on September 27th, 1922. Ostriches can outrun horses. Their elastic tendons mean they have to exert less energy to run than your average animal does. So this low expenditure means they could outrun many animals capable of running long distances. That's awesome. It's impossible to hum while holding your nose. I remember this fact. I'm not going to try it because I tried it and I felt like an idiot, so I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to do it. I know you're looking at me like, do it, Randall. I'm not doing it. I'm not going to do it. Robert Downey Jr. used to be Mr. Peanut's voice. There is a global drone racing league for elite drone pilots. Sweet. Canada has a completely indoor town. Vermont, Canada is so cold in the winter, it's built so that residents never have to go outside during the 7 months when temperatures dip below freezing. Homes, restaurants, supermarkets, stores, schools, a health center, bars, and a hotel are all contained in a series of interconnected structures. The largest collection of comic books is nearly 102,000 strong. Sweet. Queen Elizabeth was a mechanic. Near the end of World War II, Queen Elizabeth worked as a truck mechanic. According to History.com, the woman then known as Second Subaltern Elizabeth Windsor donned a pair of coveralls and trained in London as a mechanic and military truck driver. She is the only female of the royal family to have entered the armed forces and is the only living head of state who served in World War II. Owls have 3 sets of eyelids. Bela Lugosi was buried in his Dracula costume. The world's largest teddy bear collection numbers more than 8,000. 2 of John Tyler's grandsons are still alive. Cockroaches can survive decapitation. Trust me, I know. 1 year on Uranus is 84 years on Earth. It takes Earth around 365 days to complete a trip around the sun, which is why a year on our planet lasts for that many days. However, over on Uranus, which is a lot farther away from our star and follows a wider path around it, a single orbit takes 84 years. That means 1 year on Uranus lasts for nearly a century on Earth, which is very interesting to think about. It's like, can you imagine spending like 1 day taking 84 years? Our whole evolution would be completely different, you know? In an average grocery store, 1/4 of the products contain ingredients that come from corn. Definitely not surprised by that. You can die from laughter. Apparently, Chrysippus of Soli, a Greek philosopher, is rumored to have died while laughing at a donkey eating figs. That sounds pretty funny, actually. So it is possible. A blue whale's heart is more than 5 feet long. Excuse me. 35, I usually cover my mouth, but I'm holding my phone. I'm not rude, I swear. It's also 4 feet wide and can weigh upwards of 400 pounds. The heart of the whale, that is. A 3,500-year-old tablet may contain the world's oldest yo mama joke. As much as human culture evolves, it also stays the same. A perfect example of this is the fact that an ancient tablet found in Iraq contains the world's oldest known yo mama joke, dating back 3,500 years and believed to be written by a Babylonian student. Archaeologists determined that the text roughly translates to, "Of your mother is by the one who has intercourse with her." What? Who is it? No answer. While it might not seem so funny to us today, I don't know, I laughed. I thought it was hilarious. Or really make much sense. Perhaps this was hilarious thousands of years ago. I think I understand what they're trying to say. I think you do too. I don't know that the writer of this article does, though. Spiders can regrow their legs. Well, that's nice and horrifying. Steve Jobs' last words were awe-inspired. According to his sister, the last words Steve Jobs spoke were, "Oh wow, oh wow, oh wow." The scientific name for brain freeze is sphenopalatine neuralgia. Oh shit, I did it. Neuralgia. Anywho, cows get excited when they problem solve. That's very cute. Nearly 1/3 of Alaska lies within the Arctic Circle. Roses can grow taller than people. No two tigers have the same stripes. They each have their own patterns to distinguish one individual animal from the other. Sharks can grow thousands of teeth. They can grow up to 30,000 teeth over their lifetime. Your left lung is smaller than your right lung. While your lungs get bigger as you grow from a child into an adult, your right lung will always be larger than your left lung. According to the Lung Institute, in human beings, the left lung is smaller so that it also leaves enough room for your heart, which is located next to your lung on the left side of your body. The Killer's Mr. Brightside lyrics repeat because of procrastination. Early pacemakers had wall plugs. That seems dangerous. Arizona's meteor crater is actually named after a post office. More than 95% of passengers involved in plane crashes survive. What is happening with this right now? 1 second, I lost my place as I'm getting towards the end. We only have like a few more, and the article decided to just glitch out on me, so let me just find my place really quick. U.S. paper money contains hundreds of species of microorganisms. Oh, gosh. New Hampshire drinks the most alcohol of any state. The National Institute on Alcohol Abuse and Alcoholism found that New Hampshire residents drank 4.76 gallons of alcohol per capita in 2016, more than any other state. For comparison, the national average was 2.35 gallons per capita that year. Green Bay, Washington is known as the toilet paper capital of the world. Toilet paper. I'm triggered. Toilet paper. Betty White predates sliced bread. It seems like an insult almost. Damn, you older than sliced bread. The 97-year-old actress Betty White was born in 1922, but commercially available sliced bread didn't hit shelves until 1928. And for more shocking celebrity ages, check out... No, I will not check out anything. At least they put it at the end, and they didn't just try to sprinkle it in every single fact like I've seen in past fact videos, you know what I'm saying? So that tends to happen a lot, and I'm just like, can you not do that so I can read my facts to my audience? It would be nice. I would appreciate it. Please and thank you. just did an hour plus of content. Don't say that I don't care about you guys, okay? Because here I am. Here I am. Granted, I have a lot of extra energy because of the quarantine, and I'm not going to work. I'm staying home every day, and, every day is kind of the same, and I feel like I'm floating in a vortex of nothingness, but besides that, I'm, chugging away at my channel. I'm making more content for you guys, and I'm working at the same time. So it's good, and it's bad. It's good, and it's bad, and it's bad, and it's good. What are you gonna do? Hope you guys are safe and staying well. As always, keep doing your thing, I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you're fast asleep by this point and not listening to me ramble endlessly on and on as I tend to do. But anyway, guys, peace out. See you in the next video. Have a good night. Sleep tight. Don't let the bedbugs bite. And I'll see you on the flippity flips. Peace out.